Hi everyone, it's Mr. Jacob here from the Kansas City, Kansas Public Library at the Turner Branch, and I am here with our first online homeschool program. Now, the way this is going to work is we advertise kits that we're giving out ahead of time, so those should all be gone by now. So you should have picked up a kit. If you did not, that's okay, just follow along. You can find a lot of this stuff just at the store. Certain things you'll be able to find online. But so if you got here and you picked up a kit, it'll look like something like this. And inside will be a sheet explaining everything. It'll be our sources. And it'll be 4 experiments. So we have the penny and the balloon. We have the instant snow. We have the hex nut in the balloon. And then we have the spear through the balloon. So I'm going to put these all back. And you'll notice if you got the kits, there were no instructions because we wanted you to follow along on the video. So, that way this will become more like a normal class. But I'm going to go ahead and do these experiments. I would like you to go ahead and take a moment to lay out everything on the table. Make sure you have all of your supplies together, and then you can follow along at home. So go ahead and pause the video, and then when you come back, we will begin. Okay, are you ready? All right, let's start with our first experiment. We are going to do the penny in a balloon. So I need you to find that experiment. It'll be in a bag, and you'll have a penny, and you'll have a balloon. Go ahead and put the penny in the balloon. By the way, as we start, I want to be clear, make sure to always have an adult with you when you do these experiments. Not only is it safer, but it's also more fun. It's more fun to do it with others. Now, put the penny in there, and now I need you to blow it up. Do not choke on the penny, okay? And don't blow it up too big, just enough. So probably like that. Go ahead and tie it. And now, what I want you to do, put your hand on top like this, and I want you to spin it. Now, I don't want you to take it and go like this. We don't want to do that. You're going to give it, spin it around a little bit, let it get going, and then watch it. And as it goes, if you start seeing it slow down, just spin it a little bit more, and it will just keep going. And the nice thing about this balloon is you can actually see, it's got dust inside, so you can actually see the tracks of the penny. So the question here is, what is happening here? Why is the penny spinning around like that? What is making it do that? Because it's not just spinning around, it's on its edge and it's going all the way around the balloon, and it won't stop as long as I keep doing this. So what do you guys think is happening here? Well, let me explain real quick. This is basically the 3 laws. The laws of motion, the laws of inertia, and the laws of force. So when an object spins, a force is created that pulls the object outward, just like when you ride a merry-go-round and you feel yourself being pulled towards the edge. So when we spin this, that penny is getting pulled outward. Now, besides being pulled outward, as the penny spins, it also pushes against the side of the balloon. And the balloon is pushing back. So this causes the penny to spin and move in a circular path and flip up on its edge, which is smooth. So if you've ever seen one of those guys at a carnival or a race or something that's in the motorcycle and they go in those loop-de-loops, this is kind of the same thing. They're able to do that because of the laws of motion, inertia, and force. Okay, so go ahead and take this, set it aside, and go and pick up your next experiment, which is pretty similar, balloon and the hex nut. So we're going to do the same thing, except we're changing it up. We're going to put a hex nut in there. Now I want you to think about what you think might happen that's different from with the penny. And go ahead and blow it up. Don't swallow the hex nut, that'd be bad. Okay. So think about what would the hex nut do differently that the penny did. I mean, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to spin it. So, are you guys ready? Okay. Give it a try. You hear that horrible noise? Is it really annoying? Are you annoying your parents yet? So what is happening here? What's the difference? What is going on compared to the penny? Well, it's still the laws of inertia, laws of motion, and the laws of force, but the difference is the hex nut has 6 sides, and the penny was smooth. So when the hex nut spins, it's actually vibrating against the balloon, and that's what's making that horrible noise. And if you actually look, we talked about the tracks before that you could see. You'll see the penny had smooth tracks, but you can actually see where it's kind of like bouncing around, and it's got a different kind of pattern. So that's how you do this, and you get to keep this and make your parents crazy all day. So pretty fun. Okay, go ahead and set that aside. We're going to do our next experiment. And what I need you to do is find the one with the skewer. Now, I'm using a metal skewer. You have a wooden one, but it'll work the same. And you also have a little bit of vegetable oil. And you have several balloons. I actually gave you several balloons in case one of these pops, because that may happen. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the skewer, we're going to blow up a balloon, and we're going to stick it through the balloon out the other end. This is something you may have seen magicians do. So I'm going to go ahead and blow up this balloon. When you blow up yours, you don't want to go too big because you want to be able to get your skewer through both sides. So make sure you keep it small enough that you can go from one end to the other. Now, just to help it along, might be considered cheating, but I'm going to do it anyway. We're going to use some vegetable oil. And this isn't necessary, but it does just kind of help it. And since I don't want to do this 15,000 times, we're going to do it this way. Okay. So you can do the same thing. Now I want you to take your skewer, put it through the balloon. So let's try this. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute. Well, what happened? That didn't work. You know what? Let's try it again with another balloon. We'll try it a little differently this time. I went through the side. Let's try going through here. So, I'm going to take this right here. See that right next to the knot? And hopefully it doesn't pop. And we're going to twist. Be very careful. Oh, I feel it breaking through. And, ooh. And now I'm going to find at the top the dark spots. This balloon's kind of hard to see. There it is. Your balloons will probably be easier to see. You find the dark spot. And you're going to poke it through. You might have to put your fingers here. Do not poke yourself. Kind of squeeze the balloon. Do not force it. Whoop, there we go. So, how did this work? Why did this work, but doing it the other way didn't? So what's happening here? Well, basically, this is a polymer. The balloons are made up of molecules. Polymers are basically... let me grab my notes because I want to make sure I tell you the correct thing. But basically, if you look down at a microscopic level, which means really, 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 really close, you're going to see molecules. Everyone and everything is made up of molecules. And the ones in the rubber here, they're actually made of a long chain of molecules, which means that they're attached to each other, and it's called a polymer. Now the polymer chains are really stretchy, which is why when you blow up the balloon, it stretches out. Now, let me show you this as an example of why this worked through the bottom instead of the top. I have a balloon here that I have drawn dots on. And you can see how dark they are. I'm going to go ahead and blow this up. Go ahead and tie it. I'm not going to blow up too much. Now you saw all those dots. Now if you look, you can see where the dots stretched out even more. But then you can see some of them aren't stretched out much at all. So basically what happened is I stuck the needle through the parts that were not stretched out very much. The polymer chains, those molecules, they stretch out, but they will keep stretching until they break. And when I went through the side of the other balloon, those chains, those molecule chains, those polymers were stretched out so much they just broke them. But by going through the dark spots, those are areas on the balloon that have not stretched out as much, which is why I was able to get through there, because there was not as much stress on those polymer chains. So I was able to break through there and then go out to this end where it's also not stretched out that much. And then that way I was able to put the needle through. Now, if I went through the side, it would break. But if I put a piece of tape on the side, it probably wouldn't break because that tape helps keep it all together. So that is a polymer chain. So, go ahead and take that. We're going to throw that to the side. We're going to take that, whoop, take that off. I'm going to clean this off a little bit, whoop. Okay. And if you didn't get it right the first time, keep trying. You've got a few extra balloons in there. You can always go to the store and get some more. But just remember, you go through the dark spots on the either end. And just be careful and be patient with it. It may not work the first time you try it. This is science. Sometimes with science, it's all about trying things over and over and over again until you eventually figure things out. So just keep giving it a shot. Now, I want you to get your last experiment. So you're going to need a plate and you're going to need a little bit of water. So in your kits, you should have, find it here. You'll have these 2 cups and one has a line on it. The one with the line on it, I want you to put water in, and the one with the powder in it, I want you to set on a plate. And there's a reason we're putting this on a plate. Now my cups look a little different, and that's okay. I'm going to set this there. You can see all the powder in there. So go ahead and get your water. And I will wait. We'll go ahead and pause it and come right back. Okay. Do you guys have your setup ready? All right. Make sure your powder's in the cup on top of the plate. Take your cup with the line on it, put water all the way up to that line. And now what I want you to do is pour the water into that cup. And I don't want you to go too slow. I don't want you to go super fast where it's going to spill everywhere. But you want to go pretty quick. So, you guys ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's see what happens. So what's going on here? What are we watching? Well, this is instant snow, but this is another example of a polymer. So again, these are molecules that are put together like a chain and they stretch out. Now, all those little tiny bits of powder, when you pour the water in them, they absorb them. And what ended up happening is they swelled up to 100 times their size. So they expanded. They grew bigger. So think of the powder as 1,000,000 tiny sponges. So they grab as much water as they can hold, and then the water stretches them, which is why they became so big. Now I want you to go ahead and take your powder here, your snow, pour it on your plate, and I want you to feel it. And you'll feel it's soft, but you also feel it's kind of cold. And the reason for that is because the water that's absorbed in there is evaporating. And as it evaporates, it produces this cooling effect. So it'll just keep doing that until it completely evaporates. Now, the way this powder was actually discovered is that a company was trying to come up with something to absorb water in diapers. And then they tried this, and then this happened. So think about that. If a baby was wearing a diaper with all this stuff in there, what would happen after they went to the bathroom? The diaper would just go and blow up. So it didn't really work well for diapers, but it worked perfect for this. Now, the best part about this is not only biodegradable, so it's safe for outside, but you can use this again. So if you go find a pan, pour this in a pan, flatten it all out so that way it's not piled up on top of each other, spread it out, and you can leave it out in the sun a little bit. Make sure the wind isn't going to blow it away. It will dry. You can do this all over again. So you can reuse this experiment. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a lot. And if you have any questions, give us a call. We're happy to answer. Now, in the meantime, we have part 2 of this class coming up. So next week, you can pick up your kits for that. And the week after that, we will do the video online. And your kits will have the date inside. So be sure to just check our YouTube page where you found this video, or our Facebook page, and follow along with us and learn. And come back and see us for more of our classes coming up. So thank you guys, and we'll see you later. Bye.